Well, my guest tonight is an iconic musician best known for this all-time classic.
Let me take you by the hand and lead you through the streets of London. I'll show you something to make you change your mind.
I could play that all night. Rough McTell, welcome to McKnight Tonight.
Well, thank you very much. I haven't seen that video for a while. That's your very own John Williams there playing guitar, second guitar with me. Yeah, what
That's
an honor.
right, good memory. You know, it is
Yeah.
always a beautiful experience listening to Streets of London. It is a song that refuses to age. Why do you think its message still lands so powerfully today?
Well, I don't know. Sometimes you get the perfect storm, I suppose. When it came out, it was, I think we were in a more compassionate age, and there were songs being written about, the downtrodden, and the world was changing. Bob Dylan was only a young man, and I thought, well, there's scenes around that I can write about. And I think I was very, very fortunate with the tune because you only have to play the first four beats of for the first bar or two, and you know what the song is.
That's
So
right.
I think that was the luck of the draw. And you could say that was, probably when I started writing, it was 60 years ago, and I'm still looking for a follow-up.
Do you know, I've got to ask, everyone wants to have a hit song, right? Is it a blessing
Yeah.
or a curse when something is just part of the culture like this song?
Well, at my age, it's a blessing. But when you're actually trying to get your new songs across the board, and I know that very much so in all the places where they understand English so well that they've made this song a kind of underground or a turntable hit, if you like. It's so hard to get past it.
Yeah.
It's kind of a bit of a blockage in your creative way. And you say, "Oh yeah, that's very nice, but what about this new one?" Well, it doesn't work like that. And so what happens is that I'm not just saying this, Rob. I got a letter today from a school teacher in a school that gives her 10-year-olds this song without them. They wouldn't be aware of it, and then they do creative writing about it. I just got that letter today. I mean,
Wow.
it's incredible. I've written probably about 300 songs in my life. I'm not as prolific as some, but 300 is a lot for me because I take a long time to write a song. But this song, I've had to accept it. And then I look at my life. I'm 81, and I've got a song that the world knows. How bad can that be?
I get it though. When you're younger, I mean, it's not a magic formula to having a hit song. And you came out with this song that connected with the world. And so you are a victim of your own success at times when you're trying to progress as an artist, aren't you?
Well, you are because even though I've probably been, for example, I'm English, but when I go to Ireland, the one song they want me to play in every television performance. Well, actually, there's two now. So I've got a song that is about Ireland specifically, but about anyone far away from home. But that's a big subject in Irish culture and Irish music. But it's nearly
You're not
always
talking
please,
about From
Streets
Clare
of
to
London.
Here, are you, by any
I
chance?
am, yeah. That's a kind of a surprise hit for me in Ireland because they don't realise it was written by an Englishman. So that's a little buzz for me. The fact that it's viewed as a traditional Irish song quite often. So I relish being able to tell them that actually it was written by an Englishman, and it's known in very many versions now. And I'm very proud of that association. Yeah.
Well, that song is considered to be your second most important song. I want to show you something. I've put two clips together. You as a younger singer and you in a more recent performance singing From
Oh,
Clare
that's
to
not
Here.
fair.
Well, you're going to have to live with it. Let's go to the tape.
All right, mate, go on then. Let's have a look.
And it's a long, long way from Clare to here. It's a long, long way from Clare to here. Oh, it's a long, long way, and it gets further day by day. Oh, it's a long way from Clare to here. When Friday comes around, well, Terry's only into fighting. My ma would like a letter home, but I'm too tired for writing. And it's a long, long way from Clare to here. It's a long, long way from Clare to here.
I tell you what, mate, they're decades apart, but your voice, it holds up, as does the sentiment of the song.
Shame about the hairline, but you know, you can't have everything.
Don't worry, I understand.
Yeah. Anyway, no, that was lovely to see. I think I remember that gig was probably St. Patrick's Night, although they'd been very well behaved. It was either St. Patrick's Night up in the north of Ireland, or it was at the Abbey Tavern with Christy Moore in the south of Ireland. I'm not sure.
Geez, I couldn't find the date, but I'll tell you
something.
something. If that's St. Patrick's Day, everyone is very well behaved.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Your music feels very personal. How hard is it to share your raw emotions in song? You have to be vulnerable, don't you?
I think you have to be aware, you have to be sensitive, and then you have to say, well, you might try to find more street credible ways of expressing a deeply felt emotion. You know, I can't explain that with a quick example, but I am a bit soft in terms of my sensitivity levels, especially to inhumane and unkind and hurtful things. Just getting through life is a tough gig. So I look for the positivity and in a subject, and also the poetry and the tune. They've all got to play their part. Otherwise, I'd be just writing essays or writing stories or writing poems. I think the song is a new art form or newer art form. When Bob Dylan, for example, in the Vanguard, decided that you didn't have to write Moon and June and that sort of thing. You could write about issues that occupied you, and you could make them loud and raucous, or you could do it with a sensitive interpretation on a guitar acoustically and work very hard on the poetry and the music. And that's the route I've chosen and returned to. I mean, I think that there's a rock and roll guitar player in all of us, I suppose. Even if we can't play, you can stand in front of the mirror and see what you look like holding one of those inflatable guitars. But you know, it's another thing. I mean, I admire it so much. I've got electric guitars and I can't play them, not convincingly, but the acoustic guitar, that belongs to me, and I love that medium, and I like to play fingerstyle, so it's semi-classical and quite pianistic in a way. And I think I get as much as I can out of one guitar, you know, 6 strings on a guitar. So
Definitely.
I'm pleased with the way.
You've mentioned Bob Dylan twice now. Is he a bit of an inspiration, a bit of a hero?
Oh yeah, I mean, and I can. This might sound vain, so be careful. I say I was 17 when I first heard his very first album, and I was in a jazz club, a Sunday afternoon jazz session at Ken Collier's club up in Soho, and I said to the guy playing the disc, I said, "Who's that?" And he said, "Oh, that's Bob Dylan." And I went, "I can play better than that." And so I went out and bought the album and I played it. I said, "Yeah, I can, but what's this special quality he's got? He's made good." And you know, and then of course there was the follow-up album, which was absolutely the album and the song, "Don't Think Twice" and all that. And suddenly the world was music and songwriting, and the world was ours. I was 19 or something, and the world, this was going to be our turn, and we were going to write about what we wanted. So in a nutshell, Bob Dylan, in my opinion, is the single most influential and probably the greatest artist of my generation, I would say, because his work, his approach, his image, his lack of communication is cool, and he's got it all in one bundle. And I went to see him most recently in Killarney, I was challenged by the performance because I barely recognised some of the songs because he changes them nightly. But
Right.
I'm at that stage down in my life when I just like to be in the same room as him.
Hmm. Um, so you've obviously met him a few times?
No, I haven't. No,
Oh,
no,
you were
never
just
met
at
him.
the gig.
No, no, I haven't met it. I'd just like to be in the same room, in the hall. And
Yes.
when I went up, he's been very kind and commented on one of my songs, which is about that second album sleeve. It has that iconic photograph of him and Susie Rotolo walking down a melting snow street in New York called West Fourth Street in Jones, and he got to hear it by hook or by crook and wrote me a lovely little
Oh,
thank you letter for it. So that was equivalent to a knighthood, I think you call that. Getting a message from himself.
that's very cool. Let me
Yeah.
ask you this. Is there a song in your catalogue that means more to you personally than audiences might realise, and it not necessarily one of your bigger songs?
What a good question. I've never been asked that before ever, and I'm just trying to
Hey!
think. I'm trying to think on my feet. I think that sometimes songs are coded. You're really expressing something else, or you're using a kind of cover of another scenario to undo something. But you put me to a test now. I think I sadly I lost my wife of 57 years marriage just 18 months ago, and
Wow,
I find her
sorry.
in every damn song. And they're not love songs necessarily. I just know she's the first person that would hear a new song, and I have written several about relationships and so on, and business that goes on between married couples. But I suspect there's probably one there. It'll probably come to mind 10 minutes after we finish this
Yes, of
interview.
course. Send us a note. We'll put it in our feedback. Your first tour in Australia, I believe, was in 1976. What are your memories of touring
Yeah.
out here? And it can be the good and the bad.
Well, I loved it. First of all, I loved it. And I started off at the Sydney Opera House, so it doesn't
Good
get
place
much
to
better.
start.
Good place to start. You know where I played just at the end of my last tour was a sheep shearer's shed somewhere outside of Melbourne. But it was done deliberately. It was done in the best possible taste, the very finest corrugated iron and steel place. But I love playing it. And the thing is, I'm not status conscious, but I
Yeah.
have played this opera house. What a place to start. I loved Australia from the moment I was there. I love the attitude. I love the straight talking. I like they're tough, the tough attitude, the no nonsense attitude, and it was that. In talking with my mate Billy Connolly, who because we were on the same record label many 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 moons ago, and because he's a soloist, and I said to him, "What do you feel about Australia?" And we were talking, and he asked me to write the music for his world tour of Australia.
Oh,
So I
really?
chose the Dreamtime kind of for the First Nation people explanation of things. And it was the fact that we feel our own ones in Australia. We feel close more than in America for some reason. I mean, the people that you're more like British people, or to me, you were. I mean, some they probably fiercely Australian and identity, but at that time, the new influences in Australia have changed the society a bit, and coming once every 2 or 3 years, I can see the changes, and some of them are absolutely fantastic. But I'll never forget my first trip. I loved it then, I love it now, and that's why I'm back probably for the last time at my age, but I'm going to enjoy every minute of it.
Well, you are coming back in May for the Somewhere Down the Road tour. You're doing Brisbane at the
That's it.
Old Museum on
Yeah.
Thursday, May 7, Melbourne at the Elizabeth Murdoch Hall Recital Centre on Friday, May 8. Then you're off to Perth, the State Theatre Studios, Saturday, May 9. Canberra, Street Theatre, Thursday, May 14. Sydney, the City Recital, Friday, May 15. And finishing up in Adelaide, Norwood Theatre, Saturday, May 16. All right, what can fans expect?
Well, I said there's a lot of songs. I'm not going to play all 300, but I think I'm going to
Be a long night.
You'll still be there the next year. No, I'm going to move back and forth, and I love to talk to people. I call it demystifying the songs. I mean, there's always more than one layer to a song that I've written because they take me so long to write. So I can always talk about how it began, where it went, and this is what it finished up like. So the stories now about the songs have become quite important and part of the show. So I'll be going right back over nearly 60 years of recordings to select the program, and hopefully people will write in and say, can you play this one or that one, and so on. And this is I think it's my 16th visit to Oz. So I do feel very much at home there, and I'm really looking forward to it. Really looking forward to it.
Well, we are looking forward to seeing you here. To get your tickets to see Ralph live in concert, just go to ralphmctell.co.uk. It is going to be a great concert. Ralph, thank you so much for joining us on McKnight Tonight.
Thank you for having me. It's been absolutely great. I really look forward to the show and seeing all my chums out there. It's going to be great.
Cheers. The best place to watch McKnight Tonight is on YouTube. Help us monetize the show by going to youtube.com/@McKnight Tonight. And you can always become a paid member. That gives you exclusive live streams and early access to videos. Just go to youtube.com/@McKnight Tonight.
Here comes